What's going on, guys? So as some of y'all might know, I sold my truck a couple months ago, and so I've been daily driving my wife's lifted 2012 Chevy Tahoe since then. I've never really been a big fan of SUVs, and I honestly don't even think I'd driven one before we got this. So didn't have huge expectations of really falling in love with this thing, but I have to say it has really changed my mind on SUVs. There's definitely a lot of pros and some cons, which we'll definitely get into in this video. So quickly, before we jump into that, let's talk about the truck itself. So 2012 Chevy Tahoe. It's an LT, but it is pretty much fully loaded. I think the only thing that I am missing in this is air-conditioned seats. It's got pretty much everything else, and it's definitely got everything that I would need in a daily driver vehicle. It is extremely nice, especially for 2012. Now it does have right at 220,000 miles on this beast. Yes, that is a lot of miles. Now I think it has lasted the test of time extremely well. I mean, look at it. I think it looks absolutely incredible, but there is definitely some things that are showing their age and had to get fixed, or we need to fix. Let's go ahead, pop this off the tripod, show you all around, show you the good and the bad, and then we'll go for a drive and really talk about how it's been. So obviously, being as old as it is, with as many miles as it has, it's definitely not flawless. We've got a decent amount of rock chips, of course, to be expected, but nothing crazy. Honestly, really good looking. We are fortunate enough to not have any of the Summit White issues where the paint is flaking off. I know that is a big problem on some of these generation Chevrolets, even the earlier generations, the newer ones. Summit White is not always the best, but it has really held up well. We have no clear coat failure, no peeling, nothing like that. It is awesome. Absolutely love this white. It is a flex fuel 5.3, so you can run 87, 89, 91, E85, all of those. Now coming inside, we're gonna see our first age showing. This is a pretty popular issue. These guys will break, and they're kind of hard to find. Hopefully I have one lined up here soon. Now, 220,000 miles, you can only imagine how many times a butt has slid out of this seat. Honestly, has held up really, really good. Just some cracking right there, rub wear, but the cushion is still there. Everything else in really good shape. Captain seats in the back, third row. We'll get into that in a minute. We've got a couple lights on the dash. No check engine light, everything running perfect, but we do have traction control, StabiliTrak. If you've watched the videos, we've been trying to track that down. Never gets hot, runs at 210 all day, every day. Nice wood grain. Right here where your elbow's always touching is cracked up a little bit, but honestly, not bad at all. Passenger seat looks freaking amazing. Whole passenger section looks great. We do have a sunroof. DVD player, like I said. Really nice captain seats in the back, super comfortable. They are also heated captain seats back here. You can plug in your headphones for your kids. You do have rear AC, which is awesome. 3 rows of it, so everyone stays cool. We have loaded up more than capacity in here, and really enjoyed it. We have 35-inch tires on here, 7.5-inch lift. Obviously, if you're daily driving something, fuel economy does matter. So if we get through here, I will show y'all what our average 13.6 average MPG, which honestly, I think is really, really good. 35s, stock powertrain, stock everything, with 219,155 miles. I knew it was a good deal when I bought it, but driving it the past couple months, I'm just blown away of how nice of a vehicle this is for that money. Now, it wasn't perfect when we got it. It was stock. It had some issues, and the transmission was slipping. Now, first thing we did was drop the transmission pan, put a new filter in it, new fluid, and as long as you let this thing warm up, it does not slip. Now, I'm just letting you know, I'm being totally honest. If it's cold and you hop in here and you romp on it, second gear will slip. But if you let it warm up, no issues at all. And it has only slipped on me once in the past however many months that I've been driving this every single day, and that was one morning I hopped in it and took off, and it did it. I didn't let it warm up or anything, and so I have learned the truck. So I know everybody praises the GMT 800 platform for being one of, if not the best interior designs ever made by GM as far as comfort and ergonomics, but I would say it'd be a hard argument for me to say that this is not better than those. This is probably the last generation before Chevrolet went to putting bricks in your seats. The seats are extremely comfortable in here, and I actually do think I prefer them to the GMT 800 seats, which are very soft, very comfortable, but I just like the design of these seats a little bit better, and they still maintain that very soft cushion. They're not unenjoyable. They don't hurt your back, any of those things that the newer trucks do. It's really nice in here. Now, ergonomic wise, everything is laid out extremely well. Easily get to all of your buttons. You do have the big screen here, but nothing is on there that you have to control. Your air conditioning, your radio, all of those things you can use your knobs for, which is really nice. Everything is really premium in here. So with all that said, sitting in here, really, really nice. But how is it to actually drive? All right, let's take this baby for a spin. I want to immediately talk about the negative aspect of having an SUV over a truck. So if we pan the camera back, you'll see we got all kinds of crap in here. We got the pressure washer, the vacuum, a weed eater. I'm about to go do some work, and honestly, the SUV part of it kind of sucks with this, because if you're used to having a truck, you can just throw all that crap in the back and never worry about it. Whereas in here, there's a gas jug back there. Thankfully, it's sealed really well. But if it wasn't, it'd be smelling like gas in here. As well as when I get done with that weed eater, it's going to be dirty. And so that's going to be in here as well. And, you know, it just gets really cluttered when you're used to having a truck bed. You can just throw everything in, and that's no longer the case. So that's definitely something you need to look at if you're thinking about getting a Tahoe or a Yukon or something. If you are one like myself that is constantly running around, cutting grass, vacuuming, just having to tote your tools around, whatever the case, it can definitely be a negative. But in the same time, it can also be a positive, because everything is locked inside the vehicle when you lock it, right? You don't have to worry about anybody stealing it unless they were to break inside, which somebody can break inside any vehicle. So it's kind of a pro and a con. I would say it's more of a hindrance to me, because I am a lot of the times throwing the weed eater in here, throwing gas jugs in here, and that can definitely be frustrating. One day I had accidentally grabbed my bad gas jug, which leaks, and it leaked back there. Thankfully, I did have that liner in the floor, so it caught it, but for the next week or so, it smelled like gasoline in here, bad. So that's probably my biggest complaint about this thing, is missing the bed aspect of a truck. But if we just talk about the driving aspect, which you probably see my wallet up here flopping, GMT 900 problems, let's take a listen. Of course, there it goes. So that dash being cracked, it makes some noise, but if you throw your hat, your wallet, anything of little weight sitting up there, it'll prevent that. If yours is like mine, that's just a GMT 900 problem, truck, SUV, doesn't matter. Probably gonna run into that issue. Now, we got this thing when it was on a leveling kit, and I must say, just speak briefly on the lifted side of it, it rides just as good, if not a little bit better, with this lift kit than before. I can't compare it to bone stock. I'm sure that was extremely squishy, rides like a Cadillac, but with the 7.5-inch rough country lift with their Vertex coilovers, I don't feel like it drives any worse than when it just had a leveling kit on it. So it's a real nice joy to drive. It's not like some trucks that you put a lift kit on and you're fighting it all over the road. This thing tracks down the highway just like it did before. I go on the interstate all the time with it, run 80 miles an hour, no problems whatsoever. Got a new Yukon right there. A little confused at what they're doing. Oh, they get out of my way, we good. Got a full church crowd going, I hear you. But This thing with a 5.3, 6-speed, I think it accelerates fine. If you've ever driven something similar to this with a 5.3, you know, they're not fast at all, but they're great for daily driver aspect. The only thing that is a little bit annoying with a 35 stock powertrain, it's going to downshift. So if you're cruising at 55 and you come up on a hill, it's going to want to go 1 or 2 gears down, which with the loud exhaust sometimes get a little annoying, but it's not bad, honestly. Once you drop a gear or two, depending on how steep the hill is, it will accelerate up to speed or continue speed or gain speed, whatever you want to do. But it's definitely one that likes to downshift. It's not going to just hold 6 gear and maintain speed up hills. But not that big a deal. Most trucks don't do that unless they're diesel or geared really, really well for your setup. Ooh, that's a nasty Illuma duty right there. But I've really enjoyed it, man. It has done everything that I've wanted and more with the daily driver. As someone that has had old base model vehicles and brand new fully loaded vehicles, I hop in here and there's really nothing that I'm wanting for. Coming out of my XL F-150, my 21, this thing is leagues better as far as premium feel and comfort interior wise. I mean, not hating on that truck because I bought it as a base model on purpose, but it's just so nice being in here. Everything feels great. The seats feel great. The leather, they've held up great. The whole center stack is really nice to me. I like how it's all buttons while you still have the screen. I can't stand all the new stuff that has just a screen and you got to go through here and click in like it. Man, I don't want to have to look off the side, look down here while I'm running 80 down the interstate. I want to just reach over here. I know that button turns the air up. I know this adjusts the temperature. I know that's going to adjust my volume, which all of those things aside from the air I can do on my steering wheel. So honestly, I just more than anything have really come to enjoy the interior of this, but the driving aspect of it is also really nice. So I feel like most people just completely overlook this generation, and I think you should really give it a second look because it's extremely nice and I just really like it. And for the money, I think it is one of the best deals out there because most people, for whatever reason, don't like the body style or something about it. And so the price of them are not crazy. They're they're dang near the same as the previous generation because that generation is so loved, which I know all why that it is. But yeah, I don't want to ramble on too terribly much longer because I'm spewing the same kind of stuff. I guess I'll end it on one thing that caught me off guard was the sprayers on the windshield wipers. All my vehicles I've ever had, they spray out of the little cowl that's right behind the hood. Whereas on this one, it actually comes out of the wipers. So even though I just washed this thing, I'll get it dirty to show y'all. That freaked me out the first time. It comes out of the arm part. It freaked me out the first time. I don't know, that's probably really weird, but first time I sprayed that, I was like, what the heck? But I'm gonna quit rambling. Hopefully y'all did enjoy. Let me know what you think about the GMT 900 platform, and hopefully I was able to elaborate my true feelings on hopefully not just a rare case. Hopefully all of these with this kind of mileage treats people the same. So 220,000 mile lifted Tahoe daily driver, I give it 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed it. So hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. Comment down below, let me know. I'll see y'all in the next one.